Hey YouTube, it's Chuck. I'm back. So I've got another project I'm working on, and it's basically about getting more data for the videos. I hope it works. I think it will. I've come a long way since I started the project, but I figured I would make this video to kind of explain where I am and what I've been doing. I'm effectively tapping into the CAN bus of the Tesla Model Y now. There are two buses that are pretty easily accessible. They call them, one of them is the vehicle bus, it's behind the console. Another one is the chassis bus, and it is kind of underneath the front passenger seat. It's basically having to tap onto wires and put them on some adapters. But I can show you what I've got going so far. I've got these, this is a Raspberry Pi 4. And it's got this PiCan 3 dual CAN adapter on it. And I've basically built my cables here with a category 6 wire and tapping it in. I'm taking 12 volts off of the vehicle, basically the wire next to the vehicle bus, and also the CAN high and low wires off of the vehicle bus. And I've got another one I was playing with also, but I'm not actually using this one at the moment. This is a Raspberry Pi 2W on the bottom with a different CAN hat on top of it. You see it essentially goes on those GPIO pins there, and it's tapped into two buses and also using 12 volt power to power the Pi. So basically these are tapping into the CAN buses, and the CAN buses essentially is the network on the car that sends information. So right here, essentially, I've got a terminal window open, and it's just the CAN data that is flowing. I've written a Python program that basically, this is just the user window with some errors that I'm reporting that I haven't processed yet. But this Python application essentially is running an MQTT queue with WebSockets. And shout out to Korn. If Korn watches this video, he lives in Ukraine. He helped me with a project he had kind of get this going. And from that, I've basically got a web app running that is showing real-time data. Now, I'm just going to show you what happens right here. I'm going to tap the brake right now, and the system shows brake applying. I didn't press it all the way. Now I'm releasing it. There, I'm pressing it. Now I'm releasing it. Now, I'm also going to go ahead and put the car into reverse, and you start to see some torques come alive, some speeds and some lateral accelerations come alive. I'm going to put it back into park. So effectively, I've got a web page running with real-time sensor data, and I've got a green screen in the background, and I'm hoping to create this as an additional video layer to create a kind of like a HUD kind of a display here on the bottom of this screen. I may take out these icons and maybe try to overlay some of this information here. So it's another layer of video. I think if you add up the drone, you add up the 360 camera, you add up the HDMI capture card I've got going for my screen modification, and the internal camera, and then now an overlay, we're kind of up to 5 layers here. So I'm going to give this a go. I'm going to continue to look into new elements on the CAN bus that might be relevant. Right now, I've got speed, which obviously you have speed, but I'm going to use speed to help me synchronize in addition to the GPS clock time. I've got lateral and longitudinal acceleration. I've got rear torque and axle speed. I've got the driver brake applied, and I'm starting to play with autopilot status. And I'm applying some colors onto some of these parameters so that when they reach a certain limit, it kind of highlights it. I'm not exactly sure what limits are important yet. But for example, when autopilot state is unavailable, I have that red, and when it's engaged, I have it blue. And this other bottom parameter down here, it's a little bit smaller to read. It's the hands-on state. So I think I'm starting to monitor when the car thinks I need to have the hands-on or whether it's felted or not. So in any case, I'm going to try to get this going, go for a little bit of a drive, and do a demo. And if you guys got any questions, let's start a conversation about accessing the CAN bus for the use of FSD video testing. All right, YouTube. I've got everything loaded up, and I've got my unprotected left turn programmed in. A little bit of a stop sign here. You can see I've got autopilot engaged, and I'm showing autopilot engaged on my CAN parameters right now in blue. So I am engaged. and we'll just see what happens here on this unprotected left. I'm not going to set up the drone or the 360 camera. This is more of a demonstration of the parameters. Okay, I'm off the main highway and I realized that my screen recording of my parameters had stopped. So I obviously need to work on how I'm recording a little bit more reliably. Obviously, I can't monitor all of these feeds in real time, so it kind of just needs to be set up and working. But if you know, anybody has any ideas on screen recording software for a web page, or if I can do something different, for a while I thought maybe I could just take the CAN logs and do it in post to make some sort of green screen. But anyway, I'm working on the process. Well, that's I think all I'm going to do today. I don't know if this demo is worth putting together, but I'm having fun making the CAN adapters. I'm having fun learning about the parameters on the bus, and trying to create a little bit more information so we can analyze what the car is doing on all these FSDBeta beta videos while we're waiting on our next release. Hopefully today or tomorrow we'll get something new to play with. In any case, that's all for today. Leave your comments below and let me know what you think. Have a great day.